Автор Greenback. Fanfic. Princess Celestia is replaced by an Огайо class submarine. Submarine Sunbat. The brilliant light faded away from the castle's interior, revealing the limp from a limb of an exhausted Princess Luna upon the floor, the dark essence that had been there only moments before her purged and burned away. Nightmare Moon, the legendary embodiment of evil, was gone.
My head.
Rainbow Dash said. Applejack was the first of the group to recover.
Everyone okay?
Everyone seems to be. Rarity couldn't have been better, for she was running a hoof through the main, which has been restored for its full beauty.
Oh, thank goodness. Why Rarity is so lovely.
Applejack said.
I know.
Rarity clapped her hoofs in glee.
I'll never part with it again. No.
Fluttershy said gently.
Your necklace. It looks just like your cutie mark. What?
Rarity looked to the golden necklace and was surprised to find what Fluttershy was correct.
Oh, so does yours.
Fluttershy gasped, surprised to see a butterfly-shaped gem on her necklace.
Look at mine!
Pinky bounced around the room, her necklace almost flying off her neck.
Look at mine! Oh yeah.
Rainbow Dash beaming as brilliantly as the thunderbolt around her neck. A bit befuddled, but pleased that everyone seemed to be okay, Applejack turned to Twilight.
Dang, Twilight. I thought you were just spouting a lot of hooey, but I reckon really do represent the elements of friendship.
The back of the castle collapsed as the gigantic form of the Ogaiyo-class ballistic missile submarine crashed through. The hull, painted a dazzling white, with the sail a rainbow sphere of pink, blue, and green. Twilight gasped.
Princess Celestia!
The submarine ground forward, chewing up the ancient tile floor before coming to a stop, before the pitifully tiny pony. Its sonar activated, hitting her with a pin.
But you told me it was an old ponytail.
Another pin. Rainbow Dash had to beat her wings extra fast to keep from falling to the floor.
Sister?
With a great and thunderous clang, the submarine turned towards Luna, who sat up as an enormous steel hull looming over her. Yet, it didn't come any closer, careful to avoid crushing her tiny form. It was equally careful to send out a softer, lava-pitched sonar ping. It was too much to take, and Luna burst into tears.
I'm so sorry.
She rushed forward and nuzzled the hull.
I missed you so much, big sister.
Sea water trickled off the hull. Pinky sobbed, so happy at seeing Pony and submarine reunited at last.
Hey, you know what's called for? A party!
That familiar pink cannon was yanked out and fired, filling the castle with confetti, streamers and balloons, out to cheers to the happy ponies. All, that is, except one. Detecting a problem, the submarine turned once more to Twilight and pinned her.
Just it.
Twilight said with a sigh.
Just when I learn how wonderful it is to have friends, I have to leave them.
The sub did nothing for several moments. Then, deep within its communication room, a small device tapped away. Spike, with the extra sensitive hearing, heard and took out a piece of parchment. Translating the message from Morse code, he wrote down the message and handed it to Twilight with a sly grin. With the others looking on, Twilight read the message aloud.
I, Submarine Princess Celestia, hereby decree that the unicorn Twilight Sparkle shall take on a new mission for Equestria. She must continue to study the magic of friendship. She must report to me findings from her new home in Ponyville.
Twilight's new friend cheered. Twilight wanted to join them in the celebration, but she was overwhelmed. Her own tears now fell into the floor. The scroll followed moments later as she embraced the submarine.
Oh, thank you, Princess Celestia. I'll study harder than ever before.
All the ponies cheered, and Petey fired off another blast from her cannon, filling the air with laughter and cheer, accompanied by the blast of the hawthorn. Twilight had been looked forward to the Grand Galloping Gala all year. Every day, almost every waiting moment was consumed with the thought of how wonderful it was going to be. It should have been a wonderful night, surpassing all her expectation. Instead, it was opposite.
That sounds like the worst night ever.
Spike said as he munched on another donut. The other pony chuckled with nervous laughter. Twilight didn't. She didn't feel like laughing.
I just hope Princess Celestia isn't upset with us for ruining the gala.
She said, how would her mentor react to having the greatest event in Canterbury being ruined, but not only her friends, but herself? A sonar ping bounced through Donut's jaws and the submarine crashed through the store's side.
Princess Celestia!
Everyone called out, shocked that the leader of Equestria would grace them with their presence, especially after the events of the gala. Taking a deep breath and steeling herself to whatever fate might befall her, Twilight stepped forward.
Pardon me, Princess, but tonight was just off.
The submarine pinged her. Twilight tilted her head.
This?
The submarine pinged them all. Relief washed over Twilight like a wave.
You're right, Princess. Friends have a way of making even the worst of times into something pretty great. Yeah!
Rainbow Dash slapped the table.
Hanging out with friends. Talking.
Fluttershy said. Pinkie Pie fired her Percy cannon.
Laughing.
Spike groaned.
You mean doing exactly what I wanted to do the whole time? Yes, Spike.
Twilight rubbed her head.
You were right.
Taking a donut for herself, Applejack said.
As horrible as our night was, being together here has made it all better.
Rarity said.
In fact,
Pinkie said.
it's made it the best night ever!
Everyone said, laughing. The submarine joined in on the fun, blowing its foghorn long into the night. The wedding of Princess Cadence and Shining Armor certainly was the wedding of the century, judging by the thousands of ponies who were crowded in the Canterbury and the castle to watch their union, the moment now just seconds away. The submarine lay atop at the altar at the back of the room, motionless as the foghorn blasted away, reciting the sacred words of matrimony.
Stop!
Everyone turned as the Twilight Sparkle ran into the chamber, scuffed up and dirty, and very ticked off.
Why?
Cadence sobbed.
Why does she have to ruin my special day?
Another Cadence ran into the room, scuffed and dirty like Twilight and twice as angry.
This is not your special day, it's mine!
The crowds of pony gasped.
I don't understand.
Applejack said, gobsmacked at seeing double.
How can there be two of them?
Cadence was happy to clear things up with Applejack and everyone else.
She is the changeling. She takes the form of someone you love and gains power by feeding off your love for them.
Not sooner had the words left her mouth than the cadence upon the stand burnt away as a fiery heat of a green fire. When it fell moments later, the visage of hideous bug-like a queen stood before them all.
Right you are, Princess. As the Queen of the Changeling, it's up to me to find food for my subjects. Equestria has more love than any place I've ever encountered. My fellow changelings will be able to devour so much of it that we will gain more power than we have ever dreamed of.
Cadence wasn't cold.
They'll never get a chance. Shining Armor's protection spell will keep them from ever reaching us. Oh, I doubt that.
Looked to Shining Armor with concern for the anxious wife.
Isn't that right, dear?
Shining Armor murmured something his ace grace hour.
Ever since I took your place, I've been feeding off Shining Armor's love for you.
Chrysalis said.
Every moment he grows weaker, and so does his spell. Even now my minions are chipping away at it. He may not be my husband, but he's under my total control now, and soon my changeling army will break through. First we take control of it, and then all of Equestria.
Absorbed in her laughter and triumph, Chrysalis was unaware of the tube Sliding open to the submarine bow. A torpedo shot out, hit the changing queen, her triumphant laughter turning into a terrified scream, and she exploded. Outside, the changing, realizing their queen was dead, fled in terror and despair, abandoning the shield that had closed Canterwood. Inside the chapel, Cadence ran to her husband, ignoring the backing streak with her person had been, and threw her legs around his neck, letting her love flow into him, breaking the spell as it held him hostage. Blinking, the green faded from his eyes, and he looked around as if awaiting from a nightmare.
What happened?
He looked to Cadence.
Cadence, what?
She replied by nearly smoking him with a kiss. Cheers erupted from the chapel, and everyone rose to their hoofs as the princess and her groom embraced one another.
Best wedding ever!
Rainbow Dash cried. The submarine bared its foghorn. It was like nothing Twilight had ever seen before. Everything was shrouded in mist and clouds that stretched as far as she could see, perhaps stretching into an infinite void of stars.
Hello?
Twilight was echoed when they faded away.
Where am I? What is this place?
A familiar ping brought a wave of relief. A familiar submarine sailed through the mist as effortlessly as a bird would fly through the sky. It stopped before Twilight and pinged her.
Princess, I don't understand.
Twilight said.
What did I do?
The submarine pinged her several times before turning and heading into the ether. It's properly going slowly so that Twilight could keep up.
Ready? Ready for what?
The submarine didn't answer, but screens came forth to create a hallway, each showing a snippet of Twilight's life since she had first left Canterwood and gone to Ponyville, and as they walked, the sub's foghorn blared away for several minutes. Eventually, the screens vanished, and the submarine turned back to Twilight. Another torpedo tube opened as a green biological agent washed over the Twilight. She backed up, fear momentarily overriding her, the trust she had been for a metallic princess, but the agent washed over her and into her lungs. She coughed, rising up, feeling her cells changing and expanding. The ether vanished, replaced by light. And then she heard a voice somewhere nearby.
Twilight? Is that you?
The light faded, and Twilight stood, any discomfort from her agent now gone. Taking a deep breath, she flexed her back and extended the great pair of wings that stretched out from her shoulders. Before her, Spike, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and all her other friends gasped.
What? I've never seen anything like this.
Applejack said.
Huh? Twilight got wings? Awesome!
Rainbow Dash jogged over and gave Twilight a playful punch.
And you're flying, buddy!
Of those present, Rarity was the most abstract as the wings, looking them over as they were a beautiful diamond to be treasured and studied in equal measure.
Why? You've become an alicorn. I didn't even know that it was possible.
A kazoo was whipped out.
Alicorn party!
Pinky screamed as she blew as loud and hard as she could. Fluttershy was the last to come over.
You look just like a princess.
A sonar ping interrupted them all as the submarine showed its way through the dirt and came and stopped before the group.
A princess?
Twilight asked. The submarine pinged her.
But does this mean I won't be your student anymore?
Another ping.
But what do I do now? Is there a book about being a princess I should read?
If the submarine could have giggled, it would. Instead, it just gave another ping to assure Equestria's newest princess that she would be fine. The latest Grand Galloping Gala was better than the last one by any means, except for the green blob that was currently filling the ballroom and the rest of the palace. Ponies screamed as they were carried about, helpless to escape the unimaginably sticky grip of the smooth. Among the chaos, the submarine remained still, opening its hatches and firing cables into the goop for ponies to grab onto. It was unaffected by the smooth, its 1,600-ton weight too much to be budged by simple ooze. Standing atop the hull, tried zapping the ooze, desperate to not having yet another gal ruined for her batch. but not even her princess-level magic could make a dent in the goop overtaking the room.
None of my magic works on this ooze!
Twilight cried onto the sub.
Can you stop it?
The submarine had been contemplating that problem. Torpedoes would be of no use. Unlike the wedding, the risk of collateral damage to the ponies was too great. There was, however, an easier solution. Vents opened on the hull and there was a great sucking sound as the smooth was sucked into the ballast tanks, rapidly draining the ballroom. With a shout of protest, Smooth was put into the sub's hull. The vents slammed shut, leaving the ponies damp and gooey, but none there was the fear.
Oh, Celestia.
Discord fumed.
Must you ruin my attempts to liven up your precious gala?
Several months later, Twilight ran to the throne room, despairing and seeing the submarine, Luna and Cadence together. Luna and Cadence weren't happy to see her, or even happy at all. They knew something horrible was coming. That was why they had been summoned here, Twilight figured. They were going to warn her about it. The submarine, well, it was impossible to read, the hull bearing no lights of indicators of how it felt. In a way, it was a comfort to know that the most powerful being of all Equestria was unaffected with the fear of despair.
I came as quickly as I could.
Twilight said, stealing to the top before the submarine's dry dock.
Is something wrong? Is it T-Rex? Discord has betrayed the ponies of Equestria and joined forces with T-Rex.
Luna said, almost spitting at the pronouncing Discord's name.
How could he do this?
Twilight said, her body going cold as she realized what a god of chaos could do with the tyrant hell-bent on conquering all the Equestria.
I thought our friendship meant something to him. I thought he changed.
The submarine remained silent and still.
When all this is over, ponies will no longer be in control of their world.
Luna said.
That power will belong only to T-Rex. But we can stop him.
Twilight said.
All four of us work together. He won't stand a chance.
Unknown to Twilight, Luna, or Cadence, the submarine's radar and communication array were hard at work. Now that Twilight was at the castle, with all her four rulers of Equestria safe on one location, the submarine had been triangulation, Tarek and Discord position. When it had locked onto them, the sub tracked their movements, waiting for the right moment.
And once all Alicorn magic is in his possession, his power will know no bounds.
Luna said.
All hope will be lost.
A hatch atop sub's hull swung open, and the missile shot out, filling the throne room with smoke, reducing the other three princesses in the coffin pit. When it cleared, they looked it up to the hole in the roof, and to the smoke trail that had gone up in the atmosphere, and was now trailing downwards.
Princess,
Twilight began.
What was?
The stained glass windows glowed as if the sun itself had suddenly come down outside the castle, the roar of a distant explosion deafening everyone and everything nearby. When both faded a few moments later, a tall, non-radioactive mushroom cloud was rising into the horizon. In the hour to come, first responders to the scene would find a deep crater far from any city or town. Analysis of the debris would reveal particles of fuel that confirmed that T-Rex, one of the greatest threats of Equestria had ever faced, had been destroyed with the might of the Trident missile. So had Discord, but once he reformed, he would see the error of his ways and turn from his destructive path. When she learned of the destruction several hours later, Twilight reflected how lucky she was to have such a capable submarine as ruler of Equestria. Конец.